All right, here is the I got the tires changed for Yamaha V-Star 950. It was pretty easy job. This one, and then these two small hex nuts need to be removed. Make sure when you replace it, you properly grease it along the down the bolt and also the seals to make sure it's properly aligned. And the front wheel was pretty easy to get it mounted. However, the rear wheel was kind of really hard. I do have a jack, motorcycle jack here. It's got jacked up on this jack, and then it's kind of a little bit tedious job on the rear end. It took a while. It's not that tough, but it took a while for me to replace this brand new tire. The actual problem was, this is the nut. You need to remove it with a 27 mm wrench, and on the other side you need a 22 mm socket, and it goes right here. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit tricky, but it's not that hard to get this mounted. I used along with the motorcycle jack to hold the rear tire in place when I actually inserted this bolt. I also used my ASCII jack to insert it underneath the tire, the rear tire, so that it's going to hold the weight. But it's not definitely not a one-person job. It's kind of tricky, and because there are a lot of stuff you need to make sure they are in place while you actually reinstall the rear wheel. Getting this belt onto this one kind of a little bit tricky, but you need to know how to exactly. And so I made sure that a couple of things you need to remember here. So before I remove my rear wheel, so you can see that here the wheel hub, so I can see 3 notches. So if you can see that 3 notches, so you want to make sure that you take into account. And also I measured the distance for this rear the length of this. I want to make sure that this is 0.6 inch. So I want to make sure when you reinstall it. So these are some of the measurements you need to keep in mind for this bolt. You want to make sure that the distance is maintained properly. And also on this side here, you also want to make sure that it's properly aligned, and after you reinstall it, it's actually 0.6. You make sure it's back under the 0.6. And then here you can see those 3 notches, so make sure those 3 notches are actually visible. You reinstall it as per the approximate measurements. And also one other thing here, this rear caliper, brake caliper, has a kind of a slot. You need to make sure that it goes back into the slot, because the rear caliper actually sits through this wheel hub, in between the wheel hub. So make sure that that's a brake caliper. So a lot of things, not just 1 or 2. You want to make sure that these nut and bolts are actually going through all of these components, various components. And also make sure that you grease it properly, and before you insert that, tighten this nut and bolt. So the wheel hub, inside the wheel hub there are bearings and seals, and those seals must be properly greased. And this is a grease I have. I got it from the Chaparral Motorsports. It's pretty good. It's very neat, easy to use, and yeah, pretty much that's it. Yeah, so it's not that a difficult job, but you need a helping hand if you don't have right tools. You need the proper motorcycle jack, and also you might need this one to properly jack up. You need helping hand before you reinstall the rear wheel. But anyway, overall, I'm so happy that I got a brand new tires. The previous tires were actually the 11 years old. I don't want to keep using them. They look good, but I don't want to keep using them. So I want to make sure I'm playing the safe game. All right, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.